My next guest was one of the big winners this past weekend at UFC 273, getting it done over Tecia Torres. It's Mackenzie Dern back here on the program. Mackenzie, how are you?
I'm good. I'm happy. I'm excited to be back and with good results. I'm happy.
Yeah, how did you feel about the performance? I know a little bit closer than you would have liked, but you've had a few days now to digest the win. What are your overall thoughts on your performance?
I mean, of course, a win's a win, so I'm happy about that. I'm happy I was able to go up to fourth. Now I'm in fourth on the ranking. Yeah, and I'm happy I was able to just correct a lot of things that I wanted to correct from my last fight, but I'm definitely not satisfied. I think there are a lot of things that I still need to get better, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it's more about me and my trying to be like perfect and things like that, and just trying to, okay, the fight went like this with Tecia, but the same way I'm getting better with watching and studying my own fights, I think the top girls are going to be studying and watching the fights. So I need to be prepared that they'll see this fight and see what things Tecia was doing, what things I was doing. So just there's a lot of things I'm taking away from this fight. I'm not 100% satisfied, of course. There's so much for me to get better on: my striking, my wrestling, even my submissions. I need to get those. I can't let them. I can't miss those opportunities. But I'm happy, and I still had good. I think I pushed forward the whole fight, and yeah, I mean, I think even striking I was way more aggressive, and just I corrected a lot of things that I wanted to. So just keep getting better.
How's the knee? I can ask after the fact because obviously you went through camp and then the fight's over. But how was it in there? Because I know that was an injury you had after your last fight, or actually leading into your last fight, and I know it was repaired leading into the Torres fight.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that's why the fight, even though it's close, but why I was so confident. Just because, man, I was talking to my coaches, before. I'm like, man, it feels so good to be in a camp and just feel good. Feel like, man, your body's good, no injuries, nothing. So yeah, I was 100%. So I'm really happy about it.
What surprised you, if anything, from Tecia in this fight? I know obviously her submission defense was pretty good. We saw that in the second round, but was there anything that kind of you weren't expecting in the fight that maybe surprised you a bit?
Um, I mean, I knew that Tisha. I mean, I know that she moves a lot and stuff like that, but I don't know. I thought that she would blitz a little bit more coming forward. I mean, I know our idea was to not kind of let her get this confidence, and from what it looked like from her last fights, she kind of didn't respect the fighters, as in like, oh, she's confident in her own game, so our goal was to go into the fight and not let her have this confidence, not let her kind of get this attitude like, oh, I don't respect you, I'm going to come forward, respect you in the style matchup wise,
Yes, yeah, I know what you mean.
but I don't know. I thought that she was gonna kind of blitz more forward. I thought she was gonna kick a little bit more. I was kind of hoping to catch more, like the side kicks, but she did more. I felt like her kicks were more just like to keep me away, not really too much power on them, not really like to hurt me or anything like that. They were just kicks like to keep a distance, just kind of light, fast, and at the edge of to keep me a distance, not really engage as much. And I thought that she was gonna engage a little bit more.
How confident were you when they started reading the scorecards? Because you never know with the judges, right?
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's definitely. I mean, I was confident. Like I felt like it, but I knew even when the fight finished. I know that anytime I don't get a submission or knockout or something, it could go either way. So um, yeah, I mean, I was definitely prepared for whatever they say, even though I was like, man, I felt like I pushed forward. I felt like I won, but that's what happens, when you leave to the judges. So yeah, I was prepared for anything. I was definitely hoping like, please be me, please be me, please be me.
Yeah, for sure. And then after the fight, there was that great shot of your husband and your daughter in the crowd. Have you had a chance to go back and watch and see their reaction to them reading the scorecards? Your husband's like your biggest fan. It was pretty obvious in the crowd. It was awesome.
Man, oh yeah, 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 I did see. He's like kind of putting on her shoes and with Leota's wife and stuff. Yeah, yeah, I saw it. Yeah, no, it's good. It's really nice. Just to have the support, the family support. It's like your backbone. So definitely without the support, it makes things a lot harder. So yeah, it's just good. And then celebrate that victory with the whole family.
Your daughter, I'm sure, is starting to understand a bit more what mom does for a living, and seeing her win. Like, how cool is that as a mom to be able to have these experiences with her, that she gets to see, this great role model in her mother, fighting in the octagon, and just putting on a great athletic performance like you did on Saturday.
Oh, it's awesome, I mean, I think that, just her kind of being around me and having this example, I think she can take that in her life, if for no matter what she decides to do, a doctor or whatever career she decides to have in her life. I think the values and like the importance of just, keep trying hard and always put all the, your 100% and everything. I think she'll be able to take that with no matter what she does in her life. So it's great, I mean, it's not that, oh, it's always, rainbows and butterflies and everything's perfect. I mean, I'm going to training today, and I just took her to gymnastics, because usually I do gymnastics, but when I'm in camp, it's hard because it's right near the time of my training.
Mm-hmm.
So we just got back from Disneyland. I took her to gymnastics today, and then I'm like, oh, I'm gotta go to training. And she's like, oh, don't go to training, So it's like she sees it. I know she thinks like she can tell like, oh, it's hard work and all these things, but you see that she's like, oh, she doesn't want me to go to training because she misses me, and she wants to be with me, and so I see like the hard things too. It's not all easy and stuff like that, but I think a little as she gets older, she's gonna see how all the hard work like pays off, and it's part of the process.
She'll understand it more when she's older. It's same thing with my kid. You'll appreciate this as a jiu-jitsu person. My son sometimes does not want to go to jiu-jitsu, but we tell him like, look, like go, just tough it out. You'll have a good time. And then after, he's always happy that he did it. Right. So it's one of those things where, after the fact, he obviously like, enjoys it. It's just like getting there because it's about a 15-minute drive from where we live, getting his gi on, all that stuff. It's one of those things. Right. So I'm sure you can relate to that a little bit.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then did you have a chance to watch the rest of the card? I don't know if you caught that Khamzat Chimaev fight or the Sterling Yan fight. Did you happen to see any of the other fights?
Man, I did, but apparently I didn't get to see, I don't know, I guess like the most whatever important rounds, like the Aljamain and Peter Yan fight. I missed the first round.
Okay.
Durinho and Chimaev. I missed the first round too. I got to see the second and a little bit of the third. So I got to see it, but was kind of all in chops and in the middle of the after fight, stuff that we had to do. But man, great fights. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was a really good card overall. Now I know whenever you fight to a decision, and sometimes it's close, you get fans that can be a little ruthless on social media. You're good about that though. This is something we talked about, but how have you dealt with that after the fight? Because people are saying robbery. I don't think your fight was a robbery. I also don't think that the Sterling Yan fight was a robbery. I think that they're close fights. How have you dealt with that though on social media?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just the confidence, like confidence to know, like, man, we all know, like, if we put our 100% into it, you know what I mean? And we know how much we wanted the win. And, I mean, I think there's a difference between a fighter, and a fighter can be in each fight can be different. One fight, maybe they're confident and everything and they go to win. And then another fight, they're a little bit, hesitant or something like that. And, you can see like, okay, they fought to not lose, but did they really fight to win? And then you see fighters like Chimaev and Durinho, in my opinion, they both fought to win that fight, So it's like, man, honestly, it was a close fight. What was crazy, you know what I mean? So I think each fighter, that we go through, if we go through that, like, oh, being a close fight, I think the critics, they're gonna say what they're down. They have like everything's biased. Even my own coaches are biased. Tecia's coaches are gonna be biased. Everyone's own coaches are going to be biased, in a certain way, So it's part of the game. And I think the most important is that the fighters, you can go to bed and feel like, no, I did my best. And I think when you know that you did your best, if you won it or you lost it, you don't have
That's
that.
all that matters. Yeah. It's a great point. For sure. Exactly. So obvious question, we're a few days removed. When are you looking to get back in there? When do you want to have your next fight?
I mean, I don't know. I think like 5 months, 6 months would be good. I mean, of course, back in the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, in 2 months, 3 months, but now as we're getting closer to the top, the options are less. The top girls all have fights basically, like they have Rose and Carla and Zhang Weili and Joanna. But who knows? I mean, they have young Xiaonan who just fought, and we'll see. Maybe the loser of one of the, the champion until the top three. And and see how bad their fights are. If they get too beat up or not, if they kind of come out pretty clean, how soon they'll want to be back fighting. But yeah, I mean, the next couple months, I think we'll see a lot for the division and be able to have a better idea of what the schedule might look like. But I think 5-6 months is a good time. Good time for me to keep correcting a lot of my mistakes, keep getting better, keep evolving, and time enough for maybe the top 5 girls to kind of figure out what they want to do too.
Well, we spoke before this fight, and I know you wanted to fight Yan Xiaonan. She ended up getting another fight. Is that fight off the table now because of this win, or is she an opponent that you could potentially see fighting next?
No, I think definitely she's an opponent that I could fight next. She's definitely one of the options. She has, she fought really good with Marina. It was a very close fight too. So technically, like, we both lost to Marina. Yeah, I mean, I think definitely that's a fight that could happen. And we'll see what comes up with the matchup. I'm definitely open to a lot of the girls.
Well, I was going to say, and we got the title fight coming up. We've got Joanna and Wei Li, so there's a lot of options, a lot of activity in your division, which is really great. You mentioned Yan Xiaonan, though. Just if that fight does come to fruition, how do you look at that fight from a style perspective? Obviously, you're going to want to try and impose that ground game, but how do you look at that fight if it was to take place?
So I think that she's a little bit more aggressive than Tecia. You know what I mean? I think she, at least from my fight with, that's the thing, is like, it's hard because I see these girls and they're aggressive with other strikers, and they're like kind of stay in the pocket, and they're doing this great striking, and I'm like, man, that's what I want, you know what I mean? But then all of a sudden when they're fighting me, it's a totally different style, a totally different game. They like kind of punch and get away, and then I'm chasing the whole time, and I'm having to like work it. I mean, I understand this is strategy, they want to win and things like that, but I'm just like, man, I think if I have someone that will kind of stay in the pocket and is confident in their striking, that they can like just knock me out and stuff like that, and overwhelm me with punches and all these things, that will help to me to be able to show my striking to Of course, I'm not even in there to be a striker, but that helps to be able to let loose your striking and to be in the pocket and really kind of work on that and show what you've been working on, So, but I guess that's always the chance of then me taking them down, in the middle of the exchanges and things like that. So I think that Yan Xiaonan will have that confidence. I think she'll be more in the pocket. I think she'll try and stay more and put it on me, I guess, a little bit on the striking. So I definitely think that fight can show a lot more of my improvements. But we'll see. I mean, how she fought with Carla Esparza. Carla took her down. I'm not a wrestler like Carla, so I can't imagine people think that I'm going to take them down like Carla does, because Carla, I mean, she can take down almost anyone that she anyone that she wants, So it's a totally different style. But I definitely think that me pulling guard in my last fight kind of, was cool, was nice, shows. But I think now the girls are going to be like, oh, shoot, now we really can't be close to her because she doesn't need to take me down anymore. So I'm kind of like, man, I don't know if that was actually the best thing to do, because now I feel like girls are going to be, even more nervous about being exchanging with me. But yeah, I mean, I think that fight can really bring us both up levels. And I know she's been working her wrestling after her loss to Carla. So I know she's been working a lot, her grappling, her wrestling. So I think it's a great fight. I think it's a cool matchup.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. And I know we spoke about it before, but still going with Rose in that fight against Carla as far as that fight, because it's confirmed now, going to be taking place at UFC 275.
Yeah, I'm still going to go with Rose. That's just, I mean, I think I inspire, I'm really inspired by Rose's style. I think that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get there, as in just being all around, being involved in all different areas, striking, takedowns, the ground game. So I'm definitely, I enjoy her style. I think that just to be the champion, that's kind of the style that you need. You need to be prepared no matter what. And I think that Rose has that.
And my last question, most important question, do you have any vacations planned? This was something we talked about last time. I know you had the photo, throwback to when you were in Mexico. Anything in the works right now? You said 5 months off. I'm sure you can fit a vacation in there.
Yeah, no, we just went to Disneyland or Disney World. We went to Disney World right after the fight. So we took that like mini vacation. But man, Disney World is actually so tiring. It's not really that vacationing, relaxing.
It's a lot of work when you got a kid. I know.
I think it's a vacation, but but so it's more just like a celebration. But no, I'll probably go to Brazil pretty soon for like a couple days. Take Moa, see the family. So I'm looking forward to a little bit family time back in Brazil.
What was your favorite ride at Disney World?
Oh man.
See, I asked the tough questions here.
I know.
Do they still have the teacups? I think they have the teacups, don't they?
Yeah, they had the teacups. We really like the Dumbo one.
Okay.
And the Jungle Cruise, with the animals.
Yeah.
That's like one of our favorites.
Cool. That's awesome. Mackenzie, thanks so much for doing this. Enjoy the time off. If there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
No, just thank you, James, for always having the time. Good to talk to you. And yeah, thanks for all the fans, all my team, for all the support for this win. Very excited. We got to 1 million followers, so I'm really happy about that. And just keep getting better, let's go all the way to the top.